Hi folks, this is Rose from In Rose's Garden, and today we're going to do something a little bit different. Not an original piece, but a repair. My husband always wears two amber bracelets, and he broke one the other day. They're stretch bracelets, and he works a high maintenance job, so they get chemicals and such on them. So the elastic does get a little bit worn after a while, and it breaks. So he tries to gather up all the beads, and we'll see if we got them all when we start putting it together. So anyway, we're going to turn down and we're going to fix this bracelet for him. What we have here is some elasticity. This is the 1mm size. It's a thicker one. So if it'll go through the beads, this is what I'll use because it's a little stronger because it is thicker. So let's get a piece cut, and these are the beads that he found. There's 5 of each color, so I'm thinking maybe he has them all. If he doesn't, I do have some spare beads, not this size, but some of different sizes, but they are still amber. And then I'm also going to use this little silver large hole bead to hold the knot. So let's get this cut. Now my husband's arm is about it's about 7 3/4, I think. So we're just going to cut a big length here. This is probably going to be about 10 inches, maybe even longer. No, it's 12. And that's fine. I'd rather have more than enough than not enough. So we'll just cut that off. And the first thing you want to do is stretch your wire. I mean your, yeah, it's a cord, but because these stretch on their own, and if you don't stretch them prior to it, you're going to get a baggy bracelet. So let's stretch our cord out. And then I'm going to put a wire stopper on one side, or a bead stopper, I should say. So then we'll get rid of this. And we're just going to string these up one after the other, and we'll see how long it is when we get done. If we need to add more, that's when we'll do it. Now there we go. I was going to say, this didn't feel like it wants to go through, but I was sure I've strung these on this size before, so. Now, as you can see, this is more or less a straight stringing project. We're just using the elasticity rather than beading wire. And we've got our nice bracelet here. And I think he came close to getting them all because we don't have too much extra space here, but we do have some. And his wrist, like I said, is a wee bit bigger than mine is. So we do want to make it a little bit larger. Let's get out the sizer and see if we can tell exactly how large we have this right now. Right now it is only 6 3/4. We need almost an inch more, I think, for him. So what we're going to do is we're going to get some spare bead, some of our extra beads out here, and we're going to decide what would be best for that extra inch we need. We have some little rounds, we have some big. I'm thinking maybe these. They are a nugget, but so are these that he's wearing. We can put them between the darker ones, between the light ones here, and that should take up all the extra space we need taken up. So unfortunately, though, that does mean we're going to take our bracelet back apart, starting right here. And we're going to get some of these dark amber out. This is one of my favorite colors of amber. I like this dark color quite a bit. Isn't it pretty? So then we're going to put these little nuggets between these lighter brown colors. So as you can see now, it's going to create a little bit of differentiation between the one golden color of and the lighter color here. So we'll put this in here. I do love this golden color too. It is so pretty. I don't know if you guys have worked with amber much, but I don't work with it a lot because it does tend to be a little spendy. But I have made these bracelets for my husband and he really loves them. So now we've added those little beads in between, and I think that looks really good. And let's see what it is on the sizer, if we want to put a little one of the dark brown pieces on either side here or not, or even just one side. But okay, so this is right now, it's going to be about 7, a little bit more than 7. So I am going to put another of the dark pieces right here. We're going to go for one of the chunkier pieces, I think. And then we'll put this metal bead on where I'm going to tie the knot at. And let's see what it is now. I think we're probably right where we want it to be. So, like I say, we want about 7 3/4 for my husband's wrist. And if it's not there, it is extremely close. I could put one more of the little dark beads on the other side here to finish this off and assure myself that I do have enough. So we'll push this over to this side some, put one more little dark bead on here on this side, and then we will tie our knot. So there we go. I think our strand is all done here. Let's see what it actually measures out to be. Now see, it measures out to be 8 1/4. Of course, when it wraps the beads, it takes up some space when you wrap it, because there are your wire or your cord, as the case may be, is on the inside, and there is also obviously some bead space on the outside. So as soon as you wrap, it takes up some of that space. So the next thing we need to do, now that we have it all wrapped up and in place, is we need to stretch the wire a bit more, or the cord, as the case may be, whichever you want to call it. And then we're going to tie our knot. So let's get started doing that. So what we need to do is take our cords, pull them together like so. We're going to take off our bead stoppers, because obviously we do not want the knot in our bead stoppers on the knot. Give it a few more stretches. Make sure you've got it good and stretched. Get your cords about even. And then you'll take your cords, stretch them around 2 fingers, bring those strings through between where your 2 fingers come together. Get hold of them. Then you want to do that a second time. If you don't do this at the second time, it will just loosen up on you. Now slowly pull your fingers out of your knot while you're pulling tightly to it, so that you don't loosen up here. Come on, baby, let's go out. And tie quick. Pull quick. Now that you've got that done, pull it a couple times. It will tighten that knot up some. And then you can cut your excess string off. Now, you don't need to glue it with this knot. This knot is a good knot. It also is a rather large knot, as you can see. It's not going to go into one of these beads. And that is why I put this silver one in, so it can go right into there. And we will cut the string off, the extra strings, cords, elastic, whatever you want to call them. Let me throw that away. And as you can see, it will go right down into this bead right here now. But in order to make it stay there or stay knotted, I do put a little GS Hypo Cement on it. It's not a necessity. Like I say, this is a good knot. I will put it on though, just to be on the safe side. Like I say, my husband has a rather harsh job. He's a maintenance person, and we want to make sure his bracelet stays. So there we go. Now we'll put this back on. You have to do this quickly. The Hypo Cement really likes just coming out, and it is going to do so. So then you push it into our metal bead, and it will dry in there, and our bracelet's finished. Isn't that cool? So that is a simple making of a stretch bracelet. This is how you make them, whether you're repairing them or not. If you're making a brand new one, then of course you want to you'll have your own beads to choose and such. I do advise when you are making a new one that you check to make sure that your stretch cord will go through your beads, because not all beads will take the stretch cord. And if that happens, then you'll either A, need a smaller stretch cord, which they do make smaller, they make it in 3 sizes, or you'll need different beads. But there's my husband's amber bracelet all repaired for him. As soon as he gets home, then he can have that back. So I hope you enjoyed watching me fix my husband's amber bracelet, and I think it's a very pretty bracelet. He really likes it, and you know, it's all browns, so it's sort of masculine as well as just being a pretty stretch bracelet. I think a woman or a man could wear it if they chose. But anyway, that's how you make a stretch bracelet, and it doesn't have to be for a man. This could be for a woman as well, as I say. And any stretch bracelet is made exactly the same way. You cut the length of cord you want, choose the size you want first, of course, then cut your length, stretch it, always stretch it before you get going. Your beads are going to, you're going to stretch it as you wear it to a degree. And if you have heavy beads, they are definitely going to stretch it out if you don't stretch it first. And then you're going to have a saggy bracelet. You don't want that. So stretch your cord, put your beads on. If you need more and you need to pull it apart like I did, go for it. Don't think it has to be just the way you started. It doesn't. And then when you have it all beaded to the length that you want it, then you make the cord, the knot like I showed. Now recall, this is going to be a big knot. And if you want it to be tucked into a bead, you want to have a hole big enough, a bead with a hole big enough for it to go into. So that is one thing you really need to consider when you are making a stretch bracelet, is if you want the knot inside a bead, do you have a bead that it will fit into? Because if you don't, well, obviously it's not going to go in. And if you try to force it, you might just break it. So, and then, of course, when your knot is made, cut the extra cord, give it a dab of Hypo Cement if you feel the need for some glue. And I use Hypo Cement on my these bracelets because it has that teeny little pointer and you can get just a dab in around the knots. And then tuck it into the bead that it's your knot's chosen for, and let it dry, and she's done. And they are really nice, and I enjoy it. Yes, they will break. Sooner or later, they always break, because as I tell people that buy them from me, they're just a giant rubber band. Sooner or later, the band is going to get brittle, and it will break. Or it will fray and it will break. But it will break sooner or later. But if you treat it right, don't overstretch it all the time, they'll usually last at least a year. And wow, they are really a fun bracelet to wear. They're not hard to make. and I hope you enjoy it. I'll talk to you later. This has been Rose from In Rose's Garden.